is not always about wealth or social status. It's also about accessibility in everyday life. Greetings, the Honorable Judges of Pemilihan Mahasiswa Berprestasi Sumatera Institute of Technology 2025. I am Safira Ananda from Landscape Architecture Study Program, and it is such a great privilege to speak as Press candidate as we discuss an issue that directly impacts the future of our cities and communities, which is ensuring accessibility for all through thoughtful and inclusive landscape architecture. As we work toward achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, today's discussion will focus on Goal 10, reduce inequalities, on how we can create environments that are accessible and equitable for all individuals, including those with disabilities. Unfortunately, in many cities across Indonesia, the issue of infrastructure accessibility is a growing concern. While urbanization has led to many modern developments, the reality is that many public spaces and infrastructure still fail to meet the needs of people with disabilities. For example, sidewalks in many urban areas are often uneven, cracked, or obstructed by street vendors, parked vehicles, or other barriers. For someone in a wheelchair, these create a major challenge in simply navigating the city. Furthermore, these walkways frequently lack of tactile paving, which is the raised, textured surface that help visually impaired individuals to navigate safely. They are often face the challenge to move independently as they move through public spaces. And even if there's actually this feature on sidewalks, they don't function as they should. But it's not just about the physical obstacles. There's a clear lack of integrated design for accessibility in many architectural projects in Indonesia. Accessible infrastructure such as ramps, elevators for wheelchair users are often seen as an afterthought, not a priority. This can result in a situation where people with disabilities are often excluded from public spaces entirely or face unnecessary hardships when they are trying to access basic services such as pedestrian walkways. The issue is deeply tied to SDGs 10, which aims to reduce inequalities by ensuring that everyone has equal access to public services and opportunities regardless of their abilities. The absence of inclusive architecture not only limits the independence and freedom of people with disabilities, it also reinforces systemic inequalities that prevent them from fully participating in society. So, what can we do to address this? The answer lies in inclusive urban planning and thoughtful architectural design. We need to ensure that urban spaces are designed for universal access, meaning that they must be accessible for people of all abilities, including those with physical or sensory impairments. Firstly, policy changes must be a priority. The Indonesian government can take steps to enforce regulations that prioritize accessibility. These include requiring the installations of tactile paving, ramps, and clear signage, as well as designing public spaces that are accessible for all. Secondly, architects and urban planners need to embrace the principle of universal design. This means designing spaces that are inherently accessible to all, not just making adjustments after the fact. It's essential to consult with people with disabilities during the design process too, to meet their specific needs, from wide enough doorways or non-slippery pavement or intuitive wayfinding system for the blind. Lastly, public awareness and education play a crucial role. There needs to be a broader societal understanding of the importance of inclusive spaces and barriers faced by people with disabilities. In conclusion, reducing inequalities in Indonesia's architectural landscape is more than just compliance with accessibility standards. It's about creating a society where everyone, regardless of their abilities, has equal access to public spaces, services, and opportunities. Thank you.